Oh, now we.
Hey, Lab Coat Agents, it's Tristan and Nick Baldwin. Nick just realized that we're having a webinar. Nick, congratulations.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for bringing me in and letting me hang out with you.
You're crazy, dude. All right, so today we've got the guys from Streettext, and we're talking about lead conversion with video in Facebook, and they're calling Facebook the new CRM. I'd have to agree with them. The way that they use it, it's really cool. It wasn't until Marcus showed us how he's using Facebook as a full-on CRM that he convinced me. So guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's get right into it, guys. You guys were the first people to actually change my mind on how Facebook is a CRM. And when you did that, I was like, oh, I guess I was looking at this the wrong way. And then you showed me with the whole video aspect of it as well. And dude, take it away, man.
Well, I mean, Facebook Messenger is your free 99 tool, right? We neglect that. That's our best way to initiate conversations with people. And it's obvious for the clients we already have. It's not so obvious for when you're generating a lead that you've never met before. So there's this art of understanding how to create influence and then maintain influence in someone's life and stay top of mind. So I think it begins with understanding, okay, if we're friends with someone, or our current clients or past clients, that's kind of easy. We can do that. But a lot of people don't know that they're not maintaining influence and staying top of mind through friends lists on Facebook. So Facebook being a CRM is an important concept to grasp when you start learning how to basically segment your entire Facebook friends list into specific lists, so you know where to go and maintain influence with them.
You know, Marcus, Nick was interviewing a great lady from Canada. What was her name, Nick? Last week. She did video. She does really good on video.
Oh, Jessie Yerxa.
Yeah, Jessie Yerxa. And then she said something as we were listening. She said, social media is my farm. And that was a really great way of looking at it, because it reminded me of what you guys always tell us, which is, you know, use Facebook as your CRM, which people don't.
Oh, 100%. You got to think of it. It's all relationships. And if you think of, like, on the position for Logan, Troy and I, when we're actually meeting realtors for the first time, one of the best things we can do to start that relationship is connect with them on Facebook, because it immediately puts a face to each other, and we get to kind of look at each other, build rapport, see what each other's likes are, interests. It makes you human. When you try to go for you know, if you think of it with someone you never met before, which is why we love BombBomb, of course, and we're going to talk about that shortly, it's because you're trying to start this relationship with HTML, with some writing, and they're going to immediately put this wall up, immediately. And it's no different from us. So if we can connect and build rapport and be authentic and genuine in our approach of doing that, then that's going to be the way to continue that relationship moving forward. And it allows us to actually, the beauty about Facebook too is once you're Facebook friends, you can see when they're home, right?
Very true.
It's like digitally door knocking on roids, because now you're like, oh, you've seen my message, we're connected, and now I can drop you into list and maintain that influence and actually direct that list. I can create influence specifically to that list, so no one else will see it except for the people that put into that list.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously here at Streettext, our main focus has always been on generating leads, helping people find the right kind of clientele for the best cost. Obviously, that's always been our main focus, but helping people identify new ways of staying in front of their clients and nurturing people is also a huge focus in not only Streettext, but the community that we have, which is, you know, obviously tied in with you guys as well. It's really important that we collaborate and share on other things that are outside of the sphere that is Streettext, so we can find things, you know, BombBomb and Dub and HomeBot, all these different things that we're not necessarily connected to, but we've identified, you know, ways of keeping in touch with your clients at an affordable rate. And when it comes to Facebook, since we're talking about that, Facebook as a CRM, essentially it's free. You've already paid to generate leads. You've paid for those leads. How do you then stay in front of them in a quick and effective and cost-effective manner, right? So once again, like Marcus has mentioned, you put them into a Facebook list, which you can then drip on, and we call it remarketing. Not retargeting per se, but remarketing. You can keep people together in a specific list, which you can then drip exclusive, if you will, or specific content that pertains directly to them, so that you can keep them close. Because once again, if you're relying solely on calling and texting and emailing and mailers, not only are they, time costly, so to speak, and also not free, it can be seen as a little bit aggressive. But when you're relying more on a simple drip on Facebook, you can get the right content in front of them. And once again, it doesn't cost you any more money. So.
Does everybody know what friends list is? Should we show them?
Can you show us, Marcus? Because a lot of people, when you showed me, I was like, oh.
Okay. Let me share.
Yeah, let's start there.
And it's so powerful. Just because I just see.
This is why that's so good.
It's having her lip while she's breastfeeding. Okay, so in this explore section of Facebook, and I think you really have to actually do this while you're at a desktop or laptop computer.
Okay.
I know it's over and over
That's
again.
so distracting.
So when you click on friends list, you're gonna have, maybe you won't have much than anything, because Facebook usually what they'll do is they'll put these lightning bolts as lists for you, like things like close friends and family, where you work, and so forth. All these lists that I have here are lists I've created. Okay, so you got to realize most of you won't have lists unless you're actually using Facebook as a CRM, but it's easy to actually create lists. You just go create a list. Okay, now I'm gonna go to something like LCA. I have an LCA list.
Oh, wow.
Okay, wow, yeah, hey, there's Tristan. So anything that I post directly to this list with these 30 members of the LCA group in it, I get to actually use Facebook directly to post to people in the LCA that I want to influence, right? Massive, massive. And whether it's a video talking to you guys directly to LCA, whether it's content I want only LCA members to get, I'm going to, because I've actually added all these people into this list. And to be honest, guys, some of these people that I added in this list aren't even my friends. The key is you have to send the friend request to drop somebody into a list.
They don't have to accept it.
They don't have to accept it.
Oh, dude.
Wow.
I missed that the first time, Marcus. Thank you for repeating this.
So you,
Appreciate that.
as long as you send a friend request,
100%.
you can add someone to a list, which means you see their feed or they see yours. How does that work?
Like Dan, let's see if Dan and I are friends. I'll just use Dan for example. We are friends, but I'm gonna unfriend him just for this purpose.
Ah, Dan.
Yeah, Dan.
All right, Dan.
Okay, so Dan.
Oh, he just unfriended you, yo.
And I'm gonna add you as a friend again, Dan. But
You might not accept a second time.
I don't know.
Don't do it. Don't do
here's
it.
the key. When I add him, okay, I'm gonna send them friend requests. Well, most people stop there and they don't realize if they just left their mouse on that friend request sent, you could add into another list. Okay, now he's obviously already in the LCA because I've added him before, but that's the beauty. And guess what? I can drop him into multiple lists. Here's one I created called Not Facebook Friends Yet, or not, you can call it Not Friends Yet, because why wouldn't you want to create another list where you're not friends yet, and you're going to actually move them out of that list once they become your friends?
Yeah, check on that list once every 30 days. If they haven't accepted your friend request yet, cancel it and send it again.
Right? And you can have multiple layers of your own pipeline that you're going to create for this, but there's no better way to look at this than obviously from the lens of referrals, repeat business that you already have that you need to stay top of mind with. Start there, because your referral business is your lifeblood moving forward, and you need to stay top of mind with these guys almost daily, liking their stuff, giving them free dopamine hits, and they feel like you're staying in touch, right? Commenting on some of these things. And most importantly, if I scroll over your face, Tristan, and I click on message, I can see the last communication we had, right? And this allows me to see where I need to put you in another list. So for people like, that have sellers that are 6 months to a year out, you're going to want to actually track this way anyways, because you're going to start moving them into lists that are more immediate in nature.
Dude, that's beautiful, man.
Yeah, and consider this. I mean, everybody has areas where we want to farm more than one specific location. And just to make this easier on myself, I'll use our area as an example, but you can read into wherever you are and the same principles apply. Now, consider this. We live in a city called Kelowna, right? 45 minutes north is a city called Vernon. 45 minutes south, a city called Penticton. All have it's a very different market, right? So for me to be the Kelowna expert, I may not be then seen as the Vernon or the Penticton expert because of the differences in the market. So when I post now, I don't want to post something that is blasting to all of Facebook if it's only referencing one of those 3 areas. Because if I'm on there saying, hey, this is Logan in Kelowna, just want to go over the market stats, yada, 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 and my Vernon people see that, there's a little bit of animosity built into the 2 cities already, right? They don't want to deal with the Kelowna guy. I'm going to find a local person. I want to deal local. Right? But if every time I get a Vernon lead, I build them into a Vernon potential home sellers. Every time I get a Kelowna lead, they go into my Kelowna list, Penticton goes into that list. Then I can post specific and relevant content to each of those lists individually, increasing the likelihood that those people see it first and foremost, but making sure other people don't see it. Because once again, my Vernon people see me constantly being the Kelowna guy. I'm not their guy. How can you be my expert if you're their expert? So what I would do, I would use these lists to drip on once every 30 days with simple market stats, right? So let's say, for instance, a lead comes through for Kelowna, and let's just say they're 8 months away from actually being ready to sell, which is a pretty typical timeline on social media. I've gone through all my touches, my texts, my phone calls, my emails, everything that I know to do, and I've gotten absolutely ghosted. 3 months of that, what's the typical response from the agent? Right? I'm out. I'm not going to keep doing this. If you're not interested in talking to me yet, we're done basically. That happens a lot of the time. Then you rely on simply an email drip campaign. That's fairly typical, I would say. Now consider this. If I've been posting once monthly a video where I go somewhere local in Kelowna, I bring out my phone and I just say, hey guys, Logan here with whatever brokerage, right? Just wanted to go over our local stats. Over the last 30 days here in Kelowna, there's been X amount of properties listed, sold, days on market, expired listings, whatever I want to discuss that supports what I'm trying to help people discover, right? But then I'm also going to be the community guy. So there's community events coming up. There's a farmer's market. There's, I have an open house. I have a pocket listing, whatever it is. I'm that guy, right? So they see that video once monthly from me. When I'm done my Kelowna video, I am that guy, by the way. But when I'm done my Kelowna video, I'm driving down the road to Vernon. I'm doing the exact same thing there, but then it's Logan downtown in Kelowna or in Vernon. I just want to talk about our local stats. It's always our local stats because I'm only going to post that to that local area of people I've already identified as being homeowners within that area that might sell eventually.
Hey,
So guys, when you create these lists and you post whatever you're posting, are these posts going directly to these people, or how is it?
It actually shows up. It shows up as a notification, actually, is what we've been finding. So what you'll get is all those people in the list, they have different, some of them may start finding it in their news feeds, but it oftentimes will come up as a notification. So you have a new notification, you click on it, it'll say, Logan shared a post with you. You look at it, you're the only one who it was shared with. You only know it was you that it was shared with. They don't see who else it's been shared with, and they don't know that they were in a particular list. All they say is Logan shared a post with you. They click on it.
So it just shows up on your regular feed,
Yep.
But it notifies those specific people, correct?
Exactly.
All right, question from the audience from Chris Willard. How often do you want to engage with your Facebook friends on the custom list? Would a personal video be better way to engage? What do you guys think?
Once again, I'm looking at things in terms of scalability. And if you're relying on a personal video for each and every person, how scalable is that? I mean, is it more impactful? Absolutely. If somebody says and references me and my name and my situation directly in video form, absolutely, I prefer that, clearly. But if you have, let's say, 100 leads in a week, do you have time to look at each individual scenario and come up with the appropriate personalized video? It may be less scalable. But if you look at things and say, I'm grouping people based on their area, and I can put, let's say, 100 people at a time into one list, I'm now able to create one 30-second video that's going to 100 people at a time, right? In my opinion, it's significantly more scalable, and your end goal is to try to get a one-on-one interaction with them. And if you provide enough value in the general video, you're able to get people who are interested in what you have to say. Then if I get somebody reaching back to me personally, absolutely they're getting a personal video sent back. But I'm doing this at scale so that I can identify and filter those who are more serious from those who need more time.
Logan, I didn't know you were a Facebook ninja like Marcus.
I'm a little bit more, I'm quiet. I'm the behind the scenes guy.
I need more of videos from you through Messenger with funny faces, Logan. That's what I need.
That's the challenge.
That's Marcus's forte for sure. If anybody who
So bummed that they don't have the mustache man anymore.
Mustache Man was the best.
It was the
That was the best.
So just on the topic of posts and stuff there too, never underestimate the power of value add posts that you can actually do in this. So you can do all sorts of crazy stuff. So I mean, you can do a post that says, hey, here's this top 7 tips for preparing your home for Thanksgiving. Or, hey, here's some great ideas for decorating your house for Christmas. There's lots of different things. And I get a lot of agents that sometimes they're like, oh, what am I going to post? I have to come up with all this creative content and all that stuff. It's really easy. You don't have to necessarily be the person that has all of the ideas and all these postings. I recommend is find 5 blogs and read them every single day. Eventually, some of this content is going to seep in. You're going to create your kind of own stuff. A lot of what's already out there has already been created. It's just a matter of now sharing it with others that are out there. You do this on a regular basis, they're going to consistently be seeing a lot of posts in their newsfeed from you, keeping you top of mind, which is, what this game is all about.
So take me through this, because Streettext, we've been using it with our expansion team out in St. Louis and Illinois with Peyton. I know Peyton reached out to you, Marcus. And the way that it happens is when we get these Facebook leads, most of them are seller leads, right? And
Yes.
they're great. Now, what you're suggesting is that we create a list with maybe it says Streettext leads at the beginning, right? As we grow.
Multiple lists. You're going to obviously, and address only are going to be part of them, right? Because a lot of people don't look at address only as anything but partial leads they can't do anything with but send something in the mail.
So take me through the process, because all these leads are coming through from Streettext. And now that I just realized from what you told me that they don't have to accept our friend requests so that we can add them to a list, and they'll still see our stuff, right? That changes everything. So take me through the process of getting leads and what you do next with the list.
Okay, so if you add them to a list, it's more of a management tool than anything else for you. It's not necessarily they're going to see it until they accept that friend request, and unless there's because it could be privacy stuff on their settings.
Okay.
Essentially on Facebook, but there's a chance they could. There is a good chance they could, and so this is something you got to test a little bit.
Well, look at it this way really quick while we're discussing that. If you are putting something on Facebook and you are targeting, let's say, St. Louis. I mean, St. Louis is a pretty vast area. Facebook is then going to say, okay, I have this wide of an audience to find relevancy. I'm just going to show it to as many people as I can. But you're not guaranteeing, or you're not increasing the likelihood of the right people seeing it. But if you put that list together of, let's say, 100 people or whatever it is, you're then telling Facebook, try to find these 100 people within St. Louis, Missouri. So the likelihood of those people finding it is significantly greater, because you're not dealing with 1 million people or whatever it is. You're dealing with 100 potentials.
All right. So then how would I create lists that I could then use to do better with Streettext here? What would your recommendations be for this?
You want to screen share that?
Yeah,
Sure
that'd be way better.
So do you want me to start from the actual ad, like as if a lead was coming in, so you can experience that?
Yeah, this way I can go through the whole process, because what I'm going to do, I know we're recording this, I'm going to send this out to Peyton and be like, hey, Peyton.
Well, it's important to realize, so when Streettext goes out there and launches an ad campaign on Facebook, everybody knows about the 15-mile radius change, right?
Yep. But you can repeat it for those that weren't listening.
I will. It was my plugin right there, so you understand it. It's an important piece to this, which is how you actually should be launching your ads. So if you understand that Facebook now is, no matter where you're targeting, let's say in this case, Michaela wants to target Meridian, but unfortunately, if you target Meridian, Facebook is naturally going to draw a 15-mile radius around Meridian. So if you know that your little town is like a mile in radius, but Facebook is going to target another 14 miles outside of that, then you can't be using verbiage that says Meridian on the ad anymore, because it's just not going to serve you. That cost per lead is going to be so high, and you're going to be getting so many leads outside the area as well. So what we've created is a scenario that you could actually target all the surrounding area and win big with a 15-mile radius drop, especially for you guys that are on the ocean. If that radius is dropped on the the edge of the ocean because you live in Malibu or something, then it's not like you're going to be going to target the fish in the sea, right? So,
That's my favorite line is the fish don't click. So
the fish don't click.
Not yet. Just wait, Tammy.
they will.
Or if you're in a big body of water somewhere. So the key is like you can manipulate with the pin drop to understand that you can actually cut that pin drop in half, that 15-mile radius in half because of where you live. But if you have to actually target the 15 miles, you might as well do it like this. And you can drop emojis in this as well. So it actually looks pretty cool. But if someone were to buy your home, would you sell it, find its value in the current market? That's a typical seller ad, right? So what's happening is you're stopping their newsfeed and their scroll on their smartphones. And when they click on it, what happens is it's very congruent in the experience. So I'm not going to click on her ad because I don't want her paying for this click, but I am going to show you what happens is if she did click on it. It's going to take them into this type of experience on their smartphones usually. And so all you need to know is why we're so successful, why Streettext has a close to 70% click to contact ratio is because we're not using lead ads. Let me say that again. We're not using Facebook lead ads. We're not asking for all their information up front. So that moment they click on Analyze My Property, all we're asking for is an address here. Okay? And so what is the mistake of a lot of people trying to generate their own leads is they're going straight into asking for all the information up front.
Yeah, they are.
So here's the key. If I'm only giving you an address to work off in this moment, okay? And let's just say, because I'm just going to give you my home address from when I was, living in California. When I click Analyze My Property, at that very moment in time, the address is being submitted into our Streettext dashboard. And let's just say I go to put in my email, but I don't want to give you permission, and I click Next. Well, all I have to work off it is an address at that moment.
But then once again, knowing what we know about Facebook, an address only, I mean, it's no longer an invaluable lead. It used to be when people would say, if it's an address only, I actually don't want to work with them. Well, think of it this way. There was a reason why they didn't want to choose to put in the rest of their information. But knowing what we know now, you can just look at tax records or pull title, get the registered homeowner. If I know a first name and a last name in a city they live in, I can find 65 to 75% of people now using the advanced search feature on Facebook, right? So then I find them on Facebook, I put them into that list. Right? I'm sending mailers and I'm going to do everything else I can. I'm going to use systems like Spokio and all sorts of different things to uncover the missing information. But if you know that with an address only, you can just do a quick little reverse search, find them on Facebook and then start dripping on them. You found somebody who put up their hand who was probably earlier in the investigation period as to whether they're ready to sell their home, but you're finding them way down the road. And now you're just dripping on them with everybody else. You don't have to come up with specific content for them. You're just giving them something of value month by month by month by month until finally they're within that 3 to 4 month window. They put up their hand, they reach back to you.
And that's worst case scenario. I mean, here's the key. Once you get their email, this is the big light bulb that needs to shoot off for people, because that's the moment that what's happening in the background is massively important. You're going to want to have something that has a video shooting out in that very moment, introducing yourself authentically, right? Being genuine, and it feels like it's going straight to them, because as soon as that email is inputted, bam, automations are massive, especially when you customize them. We leverage BombBomb. There's a tool called Dub that's kind of out there too that you can run. I still think BombBomb.
What's that called?
Dub, D-U-B-B.
D-B-B?
D-U-B-B.
I think they're out of your neck of the woods out there, buddy. I think they're Southern Cali.
Wow.
But they're a small team right now. But the key is when you go in and embed video, you're changing the game, because you get the chance to communicate your value, who you are. And the process is no longer about giving them a CMA. It could be 1,000 different ways you can take it. It's being genuine, and you're asking questions, but you're connecting.
And on that topic, just real quick, just look at it this way. For anybody who's ever door knocked, and I'm assuming a lot of you guys have door knocked and had varying responses, but look at it this way. You've taken the time to go knock on somebody's door. Which of these two scenarios would be more likely to work? You're going to knock on the door, and instead of standing there and waiting for them to answer it, you put in your business card with maybe a quick little note, turn and run back to your car, right? They open the door, they read your note. Or would you knock on the door, wait for them to open it, and be face-to-face and introduce yourself?
Like doorbell ditching. You don't want to be doorbell ditching.
Nicky 9 doors, right? I mean, which makes more sense to you? And by not having video in your introductory email, you've knocked on their door and you turn back and you're hiding in your car, right? It's of no value, because look at it this way. When a lead comes through Streettext, it doesn't go to multiple agents, but I always impose upon myself that assumption. It's going to 5 other agents at minimum at the exact same time. Why? Because speed to lead, is that important? Of course it is. We all know it's important, but people seem to discount or discredit the importance of the content of your first message. Because if the content of my first message is just like the same content that 5 or 6 other agents would have sent them, how am I advancing that relationship? They don't know me from Adam. I'm nobody still. I'm writing on a page. But if I have a video introducing me and who I am, but most importantly, explaining to them what's next, there's no misconceptions on anything else. They get an opportunity to meet me in a virtual manner at least. But once again, just to kind of highlight that, not having video in your first email is exactly like knocking on somebody's door and running away before they answer it.
Yeah, check this out. I mean, because this gives you a perfect opportunity to see, going back to the Facebook as a CRM model, if you actually set the expectation for yourself to get the relationship started on Facebook and take it to Facebook, then it makes sense to put in a video like this.
Hi, I'm Marley with Elevate Real Estate. I got your request for the home price valuation and I am on it. Oh, by the way, I left a link to my Facebook profile page below. I'll just be sending you a really quick friend request. Want to make sure you get a chance to meet me. We'll talk soon. Bye.
Powerful, right? Because it's subtle what she did there. But if they're expecting the relationship to go back to Facebook, then you can actually take everything back to Messenger, use Facebook as a CRM, create these lists with the intention of actually dropping the CMA and whatever your process is in the Messenger inbox.
And they don't get their CMA in the next couple of days. They probably go back and maybe watch that video again and they understand right quick, okay, well, there was something else. There was a step that Marley mentioned that I must not have completed. What was that? They watch that video again. Oh yeah, she mentioned something about Facebook. Then they go to Facebook, look for that friend request. If it's been sent, they should be able to see it. If it hasn't been sent, in the same email below, she references in the video, she's got a Facebook link in the email as well that people can click on and go find her. And it's the same thing. I mean, we're going to find people who don't want to work with us based on, if we have a video and they don't like my personality, they may choose not to want to work with me, and that's fine. I would rather filter them now as opposed to nurturing them month after month after month, eventually getting introduced to their home. They don't like me the same way when I show up at their door as they did in the video, and we've just wasted each other's time. So I feel you're going to find more people who do appreciate the video and like you for who you are, of course. But on the off chance that somebody doesn't want to work with us, great. They can filter themselves out immediately.
I mean, let's just think of it this way, right? Like, how many of us are only, and listen, I've been guilty of it too, and sometimes I still am. How many of us are only texting, only emailing, right? Even calling, right? And to that person, you're just someone behind a keyboard or someone behind the other end of a phone. So like, I'm a team leader, right? So part of my job is to recruit agents, and I use BombBomb all the time, right? Because I want them to see me. I want them to see I want them to see the expression on my face. I want them to see the type of personality I have, and it just warms it up. Like, you have essentially this is why I tell agents to do as many open houses as possible, because the buyers that are coming into open houses essentially by meeting them, you've just basically fast passed yourself to a relationship, right? And so the same with video. I haven't fast passed myself all the way to the front of the line, but I'm probably 3/4 of the way there at that point. That's why it's so important.
It's so important. You gotta look at your entire Facebook friends list now completely differently. And I've encouraged so many people that have like 5,000 friends to say, well, do you know the influence you have on these people? Do you have them in lists? Like, what's the point? At some point, obviously family, friends, colleagues, stuff like that, you're going to always keep them as friends and college buddies. But everything else should be this idea of, am I influencing them or are they influencing me? And can we track that? And that's your relationship management tool. The list side of this is first going into the obvious people that should be in the list, which are your repeat and referral and current clients. And then thinking in terms of lead generation, so you can expand upon that influence and literally have up to 5,000 people, maybe more in the future, because they'll become followers too, of influence that you can say, these are people that are actually going to be doing business with me.
Yeah, I mean, we can look at other ways of utilizing video as well. I mean, there's so many exciting things that we're all kind of put our heads together and discuss what we want to share. And there's just far too many things that we want to touch on in an hour. There's just no way we can cover everything. But as it pertains to video, maybe the next thing for us to discuss is other ways to utilize video, platforms such as BombBomb, Dub, things like that. Does that sound like you want to go that way, Marcus?
Yeah, I mean, unless you have something that's on your mind, Tristan, I think the key is like, we gotta continue with the process. The process is this: when someone's coming in after that email is submitted on the Streettext side, they can give us information about their property, age updates, when they want to sell, right? This is all done dynamically, but no matter what, you've already got the email setting out in the process with your video. So when you click next here, now we're actually going for more information. There's Michaela, home changes everything. Now, Michaela doesn't have Facebook reviews, but if she did, that would be pulled in there as well. And at least with our system, the moment I put in a phone number is the moment we have an AI technology. We call her Julie, and she automatically sends a text message out within 3 minutes.
All right, and then she sends that first text message, and then if they engage, then it's our turn to engage with them, right?
It's your turn to engage with them. And actually, what the beauty behind that is you can customize that. You can have Julie send BombBomb SMS videos. You can have Julie send anything you want. And now one of the big topics of discussion is HomeBot, because HomeBot's massive. So we're excited. We're actually been getting a great discussion. We had a mastermind yesterday about it. It's incredible what this thing can do.
Yeah,
and
we love HomeBot. It's
powerful when you combine something like Streettext with BombBomb, which integrates with HomeBot, and you combine all three. Like, it's immediate value, especially if you're using BombBomb to communicate the value so they know what they should be looking for with a tool like this. How much equity they have in their house, how they could actually Airbnb their home if they wanted to, how they can pull out the equity into another investment or purchasing the dream home. Like, all these things they wouldn't have known otherwise. And, a thing about BombBomb too that I know Troy wanted to highlight today is you can ask these guys for a virtual CMA if they'd like a virtual CMA.
Yeah, I mean, consider this. I mean, automations don't close deals for you. You close deals, but automations are the filter, right? They filter the people who are more ready from less ready, and then you keep the people within the automations while they're being nurtured until they put their hand up and say, I'm ready for more. I'm ready to actually have that discussion with you. Then you talk to them and close these deals, but you need to have the appropriate automations in place in order to filter through the amount of leads. I mean, if you're generating 1 lead a day, okay, great. You have time to spend, as much time as necessary to do, your own manual CMAs. You can go door knock, you can do all these things because you only have 1 lead a day. But if you get to that point where you're scaling and you're finding 10, 20, 30, 50 leads a day, you don't have that time anymore. But if you have automations in place that kind of do some of the heavy lifting for you initially until somebody puts their hand up and requesting further information, you take them out of those automations, you're now the one in charge.
So,
all right. Do I have a question?
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have 2 friends, Misty Bruton and
George.
Valerie, not George too. But I just recently talked to Valerie and Misty, and they're both having results. Valerie's out of Orange County, Newport Beach area.
Yep.
Misty's somewhere in Texas, Houston, maybe. I don't know. But they're Austin. There, both of them are having really good results with your product. I was surprised with Valerie because she's in California, in Newport, and that's a high price point area.
It's a tough market.
Yeah, man. So that just shows the diversity of the product. It works well if you have the right things to it.
You gotta know how to use it. That's the problem. Most people don't know how to use it. You gotta understand with the 15-mile radius drop, you gotta use the right verbiage. You gotta zoom out to the right image, and you gotta be able to test accordingly. Because Logan, I mean, why don't you quickly talk about this? Is a big thing. We're playing a game called Chase the Ace, and we need to help you understand the Chase the Ace concept for really understanding how to market on Facebook and generate leads without spending money. Everybody spends too much money and then they give up on Facebook too easily because they're not understanding how to gauge performance.
Yeah.
We've made it easy for you. We literally can help you understand that you don't need to spend more than $10 without like determining if that ad is going to work or not. Tell them what we mean here, Logan.
Yeah, I'll go over that in just 1 second. I just wanted to back up one quick second and just discuss the fact that you mentioned, two very different markets. You have Texas and California, two vastly different medians. What we've also done is we've built into our follow-ups, if you will, based on your ROI, based on your median price. So for instance, the lead cost expectations for Central Texas, as opposed to the lead cost expectations in Central California, are vastly different. If your median price is $250,000 as opposed to $1.5 million, the cost to acquire those leads is expected to be different. So we have recommendations built into Streettext now that takes that into consideration, because if my cost per click is $4 and my median home price is $250, I'm gonna burn through money, and then when I close those deals, it's not gonna make up the difference as well. If my median price is 1.5 million, now cost per click of $4 is fine, because when I convert those leads, I make more money from it. So just so you guys know, we do have that type of ROI calculation pre-built into everything that we do now, so we can offer specific recommendations based on where you are specifically. Now, to the point here, we call the game Chase the Ace. Now think of it this way. For anybody who's done marketing on Facebook, you've probably, even if you don't know this, you've probably seen this play out. The first 500 people that view your ad sets your base score. Meaning that if you're advertising to a place that only, let's say your particular city, there's only 500 people there, well, you're gonna have that same test audience. But if you're in an area, once again, let's say Central California, you're LA County, if you will, with millions and millions of people. If I built 3 identical ads, you're going to test that ad among 3 different groups of people, and how those groups of people resonate with your ad sets up the tracking. So just to make this, using an analogy, imagine you have a deck of cards and your goal is to draw an ace, right? With 52 cards in that deck and 4 aces, you have a 1 in 13 chance. So if you were to pull 1 card, you have a 1 in 13 chance of hitting that ace. Knowing that, are you going to rely on pulling 1 card?
No.
Most likely not. You're going to pull more cards. So once again, the first 500
card means, are you going to rely on one ad?
Exactly.
You're not following along.
And that's exactly what we're mentioning. 1 card is 1 ad. Do you want to build 1 ad and just hope that you hit the right test audience? Or are you going to take the numbers into your own hand, build 3 ads, 5 ads, 6 ads, figure out that they all test a different 500 people, and how that group of individuals resonates with your ad sets up your baseline. Once again, that's your cost per click, right? So for instance, first, imagine you had 500 people, 499 of them hated your ad, didn't click, didn't take any action. 1 person liked it. Facebook looks at that ratio and says, okay, the majority of this test audience didn't like this ad. Now, talking as if I'm Facebook's algorithm, it's not going to be easy for me, Facebook, to make money from this, because I'm going to have to show this to 500 people to get 1 click. So that 1 click is going to be worth more money to me. Your cost per click's $5, let's say. If that was flipped and 499 people loved the ad, I now know the likelihood of me getting those clicks is greater. So what we're showing here is also, if within that test audience that you're getting bad people, Facebook then looks at them as clicks, period. They don't know how good each lead was. As soon as somebody clicks on your ad, Facebook then says, this is my preferred audience type. I'm going to look for more profiles like that. So like that last slide, if you're finding trolls, the trolls are inviting their friends, realistically, through the back end, because Facebook sees that click as a click and says, this is the kind of profile type I'm going to find. So if you leave that ad unchecked, you're just going to keep inviting bad leads, bad people, trolls, like this handsome individual here, right? But on the other side of that equation, if you're finding good leads within, especially that test audience, the first 500, that's what you can expect. Motivated sellers, good leads, people likely to move, full lead submissions, things like that. You're much more likely to uncover your Scrooge McDuck, right? So that's kind of the idea with this. So now putting this analogy back into play, you've got 3 identical ads built, right? You've just taken 3 cards from that deck and placed them face down. Now, we're not telling you to run these ads for weeks or months on end. That's incredibly expensive and unnecessary. But typically, to reach your first 500 in most areas, it's either 24 hours or $10 of ad spend. So if you take those 3 cards or those 3 ads, wait 24 hours or $10 of ad spend, you then just start flipping them up. right? Now, if you hit a 2, you don't know if you had a 2 if that's your only ad. What do you have to compare against? But if I had 3 ads, I can then identify which one's my 2, which one's my ace. Now, a 2 in this example is going to be high cost per click, low relevancy, right? So you're finding the wrong audience. You're finding the wrong type of people. You have no interest in this. There's no need to keep your 2 going. If you get an ad that has high cost per click, the wrong audience, within the first 24 hours, take that card, flip it away. If you get something that's a 9, I would consider this adequate or acceptable. So you're getting an okay cost per click. Everything is good enough. So can you keep that one running? Yeah. But are you done testing? In my opinion, absolutely not. So the 2, I turn that ad off. I don't think of that one anymore. My 9, I keep running that one because it's bringing me in okay leads, but I know I can do better. I keep testing, right? When do you know to stop testing? You find your ace. Your ace is your ace, right? I mean, once again, in Missouri, the cost to acquire leads is expected to be a little bit lower than somewhere like where we are, California or wherever. So identify and know what your ace is, but that's the general idea.
I love it. I love the way you explained it, because a lot of people don't understand that once Facebook identifies somebody as somebody that's clicking on your ads and it's that wrong person, it'll multiply that wrong person.
100%, because all Facebook cares is, I mean, that's not all they care about, but Facebook certainly is looking to make themselves money. And they know that if they got a click, they're likely to be able to get more clicks from people who are similar. They don't care if it was a troll or a great lead. It's not up to them to determine that, right? But if they're finding clicks from a certain profile type, they'll keep finding you those people. Now, to kind of put the recent targeting parameters in more of a visual format, I kind of came up with this, and it's a little bit noisy, it's a little bit silly, but bear with me here.
All right.
Now, imagine this. If you're using verbiage specific to an area that is not 15 miles in radius. Let's say, for instance, I'll just use Kelowna again because that's where we are. Let's say Kelowna is 8 miles wide, right? Let's say it's 10 miles wide just because that makes math a little bit easier on myself. You have to remember that Facebook is making you target 15 miles in radius. So if I'm using verbiage specific to a 10-mile radius, all of these people in the specific area targeting, they're going to see the verbiage Kelowna and say, yeah, that's me. Every time they click, my relevancy goes up a little bit because Facebook's liking that. But this is that ratio we were talking about. If the people outside of the area that I've referenced, but are still targeting, sees the verbiage Kelowna, every one of those people say, no, I don't live in Kelowna, that's not me. It passes by their screen, which in turn lowers your relevancy. Low relevancy means higher cost per click, right? So you have to, once again, identify what's the most important thing to you. If the most important thing to me is my specific area and I don't care as much about lead cost, I just want leads in Kelowna, then that's fine. Use specific verbiage because you're going to get more clicks from within that specified area. If my goal, however, is just to attract the most cost-effective leads, period, and I'm okay with that 15-mile radius, consider using either verbiage that is representative of that entire area, or, as Marcus is going to show us here, and we kind of referenced earlier, use no verbiage when it comes to specific area. Maybe just say if someone wanted to buy your home, or put in a home emoji, right? Because then you're saying everybody who sees this has an equal opportunity to find relevance in what I'm offering. Right? So understand what you are looking for. And if you want a specific area, quote that area. If you don't really care, either quote a larger area or take that area out altogether and just know that you're targeting 15 miles.
Here's a perfect example I launched for Michaela last night. It's got a $1.37 cost per click. We've only reached 72 people, but I'm pretty confident it's going to go in an amazing direction because we spent $5.48, 5 leads already, a couple emails for this particular ad. And then really all we did was say, if someone were to buy your home, would you sell it, find its value in the current market? But we're using a visual that represents the 15-mile radius, and we're targeting with a 15-mile radius drop. So it's understanding how to create a pixel and a call to action that's congruent with your targeting. And if you do that, you're going to get recommendations that look like this, and your ad is off the charts. Right? And we're trying to tell you, we want all you guys to be in the screen zone. And we think we've done a pretty good job of helping you find an ad and a funnel template that can get you there. You just got to actually adjust the ad accordingly with this new 15-mile radius drop. And most people are not doing that. And unfortunately, most companies led so hard with zip code exclusivity and targeting areas in the past, we know who those companies are. I'm not going to say them.
Don't say
and,
Let's leave that.
and they shot themselves in the foot because of it. And so I think the key is understanding and adapting. And we're here, you know, to show you how easy it is to build something. Like, let me tell you, like, it's never been easier. And let me give you an example of how fast you can test these cards and create 3 cards in a matter of minutes. You just literally click select into a funnel template of your choice. And then, you know, give me an address out there, Tristan, that like in Malibu or where you live or whatever.
I'll give you my old place where I used to live. It's 232 VIA Colinas.
Colinas.
There it is.
You don't want to let all the stalkers know where you live currently,
There you go.
Tristan?
Okay, so what I'm gonna do with this, Tristan, is
Yeah.
I'm gonna copy that address, and I'll show you why. I'm gonna remove this entirely up here. I'm
Okay.
gonna make this a map. I'm gonna zoom out 2 clicks, 1, 2, and I'll tell you why. I mean, we can even make this a satellite because the ocean's pretty dope here. But as soon as I click next, okay, I'm gonna drop the pin. And I'm gonna copy and paste this in, okay? And I'm gonna actually understand that the 15-mile radius, if I zoom out, looks like this. So I'm actually getting some of that Malibu in there. And so I can see it's like kind of framing in the Thousand Oaks area. So I can see where that 15-mile radius is naturally dropping into. And I have to take that into consideration now, right? So if I know that I'm gonna be getting leads in Malibu, Calabasas, Moore Parks, Sim Valley, and so forth, then I can actually adjust my verbiage and my map accordingly. And so it's super easy now just to click done, click next, and deploy both on Facebook and Instagram with your estimated commission value. And then just let that deploy, go out and do it again 3 to 5 times and let the best ad win overnight, right? That's the key.
What's the difference between the other 2 ads that you're doing?
There's nothing. Your audience is your difference.
That's the most important thing to understand is that I launched those 3 ads. Facebook then shows each of them to a different first 500 people that view them. And the composition of that test audience, it makes all the difference. You can find, once again, your first test audience, 499 people hated it. Your second test audience was the polar opposite, which is it. Those are extremes, but you do notice a significant difference in the type of people that were initially shown the ad, and you're shooting yourself in the foot by launching 1 ad. Run 5 ads, 6 ads, run as many ads as you want, run them overnight. There's going to always be one that is the standout, almost always.
And guess what? If you run 5 to 10 ads overnight at $10, you've only spent $4 or $5 when you wake up in the morning. But what are you going to be looking for? Which the ad has the highest amount of clicks, the lowest CPC, and the most amount of leads? Which ones are you going to turn off at that moment? The ads that have no clicks, spent $4, or maybe 1 click with no leads. It gives you this opportunity, and you're going to obviously, with our system, you're going to be able to see which ad specifically is pulling amount of leads and where they're coming from, because we actually tag those leads with the exact ad. And so all of a sudden you're like, whoa, it's Malibu that's giving me the most action, or it's Salmon Valley that's giving me the most action. Now I know where the hot spots are of Facebook.
Yeah, and you never know what you're going to get. You may find one ad has the best ad metrics in terms of cost to acquire the leads, but then that ad is bringing in all address onlys, right? So you have to be able to look at both sides of the equation. Which one is bringing me my best cost to acquire leads, but which one's also bringing me my best leads that I'm looking for? Because once again, personally, I'm okay spending a little bit more money for better leads, but we give the ability, I guess, to filter through and see which one is the most cost effective and also which one is bringing you in the best leads as to what you're looking for.
Dude, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, guys, so next time I'd like to go deeper into creating these different ads specifically, and then looking at them and seeing which ones you eliminate and which ones you keep and why, and then looking at those different types of ads that you do in different areas.
Here's your rule of thumb, Tristan. If you have an ad that has spent $10 and yet to accumulate an email, you turn it off. That's it.
And also, I mean, this is kind of the thing that I think makes us maybe not necessarily unique, but one of the things I like the most is that we really take the time with our clients individually. You're always assigned a coach, either Marcus, Troy, or myself, and we take the time to go through and figure out what you're looking for, because what you, Tristan, and what you, Nick, are looking for may actually be different things. If you're in different areas and you have different angles, different approaches, you do need a different strategy. So we like to come up with and help people identify what you're looking for based on what you're looking for and help you kind of set things up personally and do that. So that's one of the services we offer is after you run your split test, I get clients all the time saying, hey, I just ran a split test. Can you quickly look at my ads? I'll go through and I'll say, this ad is great. This ad's not so good. That one's no bueno, right? And then I make recommendations, turn this one off, turn that one, let's test this. But that's kind of what we do is we like to meet more personally one-on-one so that we can give better advice. Because as a blanket statement, there's commonality and similarities between everything, but it becomes really important to dive into each individual and make sure we offer specific advice.
Hey, did you want to see a quick example of how to use BombBomb personally? I'm not talking about for the automated side, but how do you personally follow up with someone and talk about their home and a CMA using this?
Yeah, I'd like to see that really quick. Sure.
Yeah, because I know that was what we were kind of highlighting, and I want to make sure you guys got that.
While you're jumping to that, on the testing side, there's some numbers to remember. So remember 10, so $10 spend, 24 hours, 500. So 10, 24, 500. Those are within those parameters. You'll have a good idea of how your ad is performing once it hits those numbers.
And those numbers are all the same too, right? Because 24 hours should bring you roughly to $10 of ad spend, which should have reached 500 people. So those numbers are all kind of bringing you to the same place.
It could be a little bit skewed for like a place like Malibu or a really high-end market where the marketplace is very different. You might spend a little bit more to get to that 500, but yeah, give or take.
Yeah. And this example is how to avoid using paper CMAs, how to add personality, how to make it more dynamic, and how to do a CMA in a virtual format.
Love it.
This is awesome.
Hey Dana, this is Stacy Sebastian over at eXp Realty. I just wanted to let you know that I received your home evaluation request, and I'm assuming that this is your property. This is the one I pulled out. It looks really cute. It looks like you have a little garage and some RV storage. It looks super cute. I noticed that you just purchased it last year in March. And oddly enough, I just have a listing right down the street. You might have seen this one when you're driving by your house. We have this listed currently, and we had some professional photography. I did a YouTube video, so my marketing's out there. I just wanted to invite you to my Facebook group just so you can keep an eye on things that's happening in Bend. Assuming this was you, and I'll go ahead and send your evaluation to your Facebook Messenger, since that's how you found me on Facebook. This is my business page where you can keep current with what's happening in Bend. And this is my Facebook group. I have over 5,000 people here in Bend. If you'd like to join it, I welcome you to do so. In the meantime, I'm gonna get busy on your market report and just see what I can come up with. Obviously, in-person evaluation at the property is the best way to go. No pressure. You may not be looking to sell. You may be just looking to refinance or anything, but happy to come out and give you a more in-depth analysis to really hone in on what your property value is. If you have any questions or anything, my phone number is 541-797-1031. And my email is propertyinbend@gmail.com. And I will be shooting an email to you shortly. Hope to talk to you soon. Okay.
Now, we've got a ton of other examples, and we've got so many creative minds that have done slightly different things, but you can do anything that you want with this. And one of the other ones I like also uses, we call it the Zulia template. It's the ability to take what Zillow, Trulia, and Realtor.com think your home's worth, because you're highlighting the fact that these are two of the biggest companies that have all of the online data availability that you could ever imagine. And how is it that all three of the values from Zillow, Trulia, and Realtor are all different?
Dude.
They have access to the same value. So in that same walkthrough, you can have Zillow, Realtor, and Trulia tabs up as well. And you can say, after that first spiel, you say, looking at Realtor.com, I plugged your address in here. Here's what Realtor.com thinks your home's worth. Here's what Zillow thinks. Now, Trulia is actually owned by Zillow, right? And even those two values are different. Now, given that, and you can even say something, you might not want to specify how inaccurate Zillow is, maybe, but you can. Zillow has admitted that their accuracy is roughly 30%, right? And it's not a condemnation on Zillow. It's that they're doing the best they can with the information that they have. But what makes my valuation better is that I'm going to do it in person. Zillow isn't coming to your home to give you that value. They're compiling online data. Now, the internet's wrong, right? As you can see here, the internet has no idea what your home is worth.
Yeah,
right?
So powerful. And now with HomeBot coming on the horizon, the open rates have never been higher. The engagement has never been higher. So you can actually take the engagement from the home bot and send a BombBomb video and explain what they're looking at. So, I mean, I think like you just leverage technology this way, but at the end of the day, you have to personally connect and help them get into a relationship with you. And that's where Facebook comes in. That's where BombBomb comes in. You take the high value that you're giving them and you get that into a relationship and into an appointment.
Yeah, and once you're leveraging video, think of flipping the script. I know Troy's been really wanting to, he's chomping at the bit here, so we'll pass the mic over. But think of it that way. I mean, you've communicated to them an item of value. Now what you're looking for is, I don't want to rely on those photos that I showed you, right? Those are from a previous listing. As far as I know, you've done more work. I mean, it's only been a year in that case, but in a lot of cases, it's been 5, 6, 7 years. So I don't want to rely on those old photos. I have some questions. So why don't we do this, right? So Troy, take it away.
Well, it's a matter of leveraging technology. We've been talking about doing a video for your first email, introducing yourself. We've got virtual CMA here, using video again. Why not use video to do a virtual walkthrough? You know, we all have these devices, and you could offer that. Be like, hey, of course, if I do a quick 15-minute walkthrough of your home, I'll be able to give you a more accurate evaluation. We can even do that virtually. We can connect, FaceTime, Zoom like this. Facebook Messenger does video so well. You can even send them a link direct to your Messenger. They can walk around their home, giving you a tour. You get to see what it looks like from there, and really quick and easy. You know, I talked to an agent yesterday who's actually going to try this, and she was ecstatic. She's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing because I feel safer. Sometimes I don't feel safe driving out to a home. I don't know this person and entering into their home. Now she can actually do it, feel safe from her home, and they take it that way. So technology is great. And if we start to leverage it, I mean, how many people have actually done a virtual walkthrough? You probably never even heard of it.
That's very true. Anything you guys want to add? Because the last stuff you guys added was amazing too.
I'd say, I mean, that's pretty much it. If you look at it from one of the two angles, let's say that I'm not as worried about safety and security. I'm more looking at time. For me to drive this place and this place and this place and this place and do walkthroughs, first and foremost, that's time. But it's also, there's an imposition level there. If I say, hey, I'm going to drive across town to come look at your property, there's almost this baked in assumption that there's going to be a sales pitch, right? Because it's like, well, if Logan's driving all the way this way just to see my property, I'm not ready for that. So I don't want that level of imposition. But if I say, you know what, we're inching towards, you know, whatever you need. Now, I have a couple questions. I don't want to rely on previous, you know, photos. Walk me around your home and give me a good idea. You've filtered somebody who is less from more serious. You've lowered that imposition level considerably, right? Because I'm not driving across town for you now. So now my time is more efficient. But once again, you know, we all know of unfortunate situations that have happened in real estate with, you know, what was her name, Beverly, or what, like, there's awful things that have happened. So this is an opportunity for anybody who isn't feeling safe or comfortable to drive to a home that's owned by somebody they've never met before, especially, let's say, like a solo agent who, you know, it once again just doesn't feel comfortable. This gives that opportunity, that convenience, as well as that safety factor. You can get a lot of that same information delivered to you virtually.
I agree, man. I agree. I still have in the back of my mind that video that you just showed me with, I don't remember her name, from Bend, Oregon.
Stacy.
I just said her, where she was showing her property and saying, hey, is this your property? I'm like, I never thought of that before. That was so
Or this is your Facebook. This is your Facebook.
This is you. Is this you?
Is this you?
Well, it's like BombBomb, right? Like, for anybody who uses BombBomb, why do we use the whiteboard with their name on it? Because as soon as somebody looks at that email and opens up that email, it's like, oh, this is addressed to me. Think of how powerful it is if they open their email and the first standing image is an image of their home. At first, it's like, what is this? I better check this out. They start and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I submitted that. This is my home. Look at all the research they've done for me. Because we've all spent 20 minutes doing a CMA to deliver it to somebody or send it in the mail and never hear back, because that person gets it, and as far as they know, it was an RPR report or automatically generated. They don't know the work that I put into it, because once again, I knocked on their door, I put it there, and I ran away. But this is showing very personally the work that's gone into this and relaying who I am as an individual. It's so much more
And
powerful.
get this, Tristan, most people, when you send them a friend request, won't accept it. But if you actually send a screen recording and actually say, hey, is this you? I'm going to send you a friend request right now. Okay. And then in that video, you're actually showing them where to check the message, because if you're not friends, it's going to the message request folder, and nobody goes to the message request folder unless they know where it is. In the video, you can actually help them understand where to go for the message and help them understand why you want to have that message history there. So then when we're talking about Facebook as a CRM, it all makes sense and ties into why we're creating these lists.
Especially if you tell them I'm going to be sending your valuation through Messenger. However, if we're not friends yet, you probably aren't going to get it. So it might be in your best interest to accept me as a friend if you want the information you've requested.
That's even better. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Good job, guys. You guys are very creative in a great way. So thanks for being on. Next time though, let's go over what I was explaining, which was I want to see all the differences in different cities too. So people can say, hey, did the same ads work in this city as this city? I know the same concept does, but I want to see like visuals too.
And in the meantime, we can do you one better. Anybody who isn't already a Streettext customer, come sign up for the trial, and we'll take time to go, not in just like different cities, we'll take specifically your city and put a focus on it, make sure you guys are all having the right ads set up in the right areas.
And make Payne work with me one-on-one, because if he wants the best opportunity to get these ads dialed in, he needs to do a Zoom meeting with me, and so do you, obviously, if you want to do it in your neck of the woods.
I'm gonna have Peyton do that, Captain America.
Anytime.
And then if for anybody listening in that wants to try this out for 7 days, I did put the link up on there. It's streettext.com, pretty easy, and it's 7 days for free. Obviously, you pay for your own marketing that you do on Facebook, but the product is free. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you joining in. And next time, I think we might just change our names for Marvel comic superhero.
I'm in.
All right.
Do it.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
you.